my class so much. It is so hard to get up here and not have my teenagers looking around with a questionable face, because they talk to me personally, and I told them whatever they say in the class stays in the class. I'm not going to tell them because I really want to know down deep in their heart what they're thinking and what is going on in their life. So I'm a secret keeper. Usually, when I start my class, I start with a song that is representing the story that we're going to study. Well, we don't have any music today, but the song that I had looked at was Dry Bones. Many of us has heard the song, them bones, them dry bones. But a lot of the kids today haven't heard it. They don't know nothing about it. The song was written about the book of Ezekiel. A lot of people say, well, who's Ezekiel? Because they don't study the Old Testament. They just know about the New Testament. Can you hear me now? You okay? Now you can hear me? Okay. Sorry about that. The Old Testament reflects what goes on in the New Testament. You need to know the history behind before Jesus was born. Jesus was on this earth at the beginning. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. God created everything in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. What did he create on the sixth day? He created man. Man. Interesting. How did he know when God told him to name the animals that he had created before him, what name to give them? How did he know to speak? Because he wasn't a baby. He wasn't taught by his parents or a teacher. He was already existing. But one thing that happened to Adam that is not us is God breathed life into him. He breathed into him. So it made him an awesome man, not a God, but an awesome, intelligent man. He could talk to God, but how did he know what to say to him or how to say anything to him? He was an individual. Something I always thought about. How in the world? I mean, we all learn things from teachers and parents, and Adam just knew it. He was intelligent. But today's lesson, like I said, is about Ezekiel. Ezekiel was a prophet. And a lot of times I ask my class, what is a prophet? Do you know what a prophet is? You've heard the word prophet, but in the Old Testament, prophets were real close to God. God would talk to them personally. God would show some of them visions. And a vision is something that you see mentally, spiritually. People today that have visions, some people think they're crazy. They must be on drugs. But in the book of Ezekiel, it is about a lot of the things that God talked to him about to warn the people of Israel because they were going away from God and not living right. It starts off in the very first chapter of Ezekiel with God speaking to him personally. All through the book, God is showing him about the country, and people just don't listen sometimes. They still go ahead and sin. But we have an awesome God. How do we know that God is awesome? God is powerful. How do we know God is powerful? If you read the first chapter of Ezekiel, you'll see how God explains to Ezekiel that. On further in the book of Ezekiel, God showed Ezekiel a vision. He saw God up in the heavens, but he saw him surrounded by different things. There was, where'd I put it? If we read it, we would see that there was a four-face feature thing that was representing powerful creation. The first was a human face. This creature had a face on one side that was a human. On another side of the face was a lion. This creature now we saw two faces, but he had four. The other one was an ox, and the other was an eagle. Now, let me ask you to think in your mind. Figure that in your mind. Place the creature there with four faces. A man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle. They all represent something. What do you think it represents? I'm trying to get everybody to picture in their mind. To me, it's hard. But we all need to try because this is a vision that he had. Humans rule the rest of the creation. That makes him very powerful. Adam was very powerful, right? Lions are often seen as the rulers of the animals. Okay, we got creation, we got animals. What do you think about the ox? Have you even thought about an ox, or have you even seen an ox? What does an ox look like? Cow. It looks like a cow, but they are the strongest domestic animal on the earth. Powerful. And last, what about the eagle? They are the greatest flying creature. Everything on earth was represented by these four figures. But who was over all of those? Who was more powerful than any one of them? God was. That's what Ezekiel saw, that God was over everything. What about, is God everywhere? We've been told he is. Have you ever seen him personally? Maybe not. But let's think about how do they say that God sees everything? Do you know in London that they have so many cameras there that millions of people are watched every day at least 600 times? Think about that. How small is London? London's not that big of a place. But they have so many cameras. But God sees everything, every minute, every second. He knows what's going on with everybody, not just one person. Whew. He sees everything. We should give God glory because he is all-powerful. Also, Ezekiel was a watchman. What is a watchman? As you know, New Year's is coming up this weekend for us, and we have watch service on New Year's Eve. Have you ever thought, what is the meaning of a watch service and what is a watchman? Back in the days, a watchman would be outside on the building looking around to see if anybody was coming to destroy their community. And he would let people know by blowing a trumpet or something that they were being attacked. A watchman keeps watch over what he loves. Are we watchmen here today? Of course. You're supposed to be watching yourself and people around you. You're supposed to be protecting the ones around you that are sinning. How do you do that? You pray for them. You approach them and talk to them, not aggressively, but you kindly tell them what they seem to be doing wrong. Or show it to them in an example like a vision, like God did to the prophets. Don't just go out and say exactly what they did. but tell them about somebody else that did it and how God had took over their lives and saved them and changed their personality completely, just like that. We're all watchmen. The last thing we want to talk about in Ezekiel is the dry bones. Like I said, the song, dry bones, them dry bones. The foot bone's connected to the ankle bone, and we sing it all the way up to the head. What holds them together? I mean, what connects them together? How do we walk? How do we wave our hand? All those little bitty bones in the hand and the knuckles and everything? God showed Ezekiel a vision of the dry bones. If you've ever seen a dry bone, like if you ate a chicken and threw away the bone, it looks kind of funny. But sometimes there's always a little thing that looks like plastic between the joints there, which holds them together. If you read Ezekiel chapter 37, 1 through 14, you'll see the vision and it's written down. What was God trying to tell Ezekiel to tell his people? He was trying to warn them that they were sinning, that they're not living right, that they needed to come back to him. So God told Ezekiel to prophesy over those dry bones, and that's when they started to go back together. Piece by piece, like I said, the connection between the bones and all, and then the blood, and then the skin. He saw all of that being performed. So we need to look around and see how we are living in today's life, because you look around, you see all this, turmoil. Everything's not good. And we're all depressed and all wanting things to change. And maybe we need to look at ourselves and see if we need to be praying more. Do we need to be talking to God more personally instead of just praying for other people? Oh, it's something to think about, huh? Not always, but most of the time I talk to my class and I tell them about the feast and all that's going on at the time when we're having a class. Like I said, this weekend will be our new year. We will start 2021. And I've tried to teach them so that they would know in the Jewish year, what year is it? Because the Jewish calendar is not like the calendar that we use ourselves. I know a couple of them would know it because they've been in the class several years, and every year in the fall is when the Jewish people celebrate their new year. And I always try to celebrate the new year with them as a Jewish custom and have the food that they eat and everything that will make you remember about that. When the fall comes, there's a lot of feasts going on. Why do the Jewish people celebrate New Year in the fall? They're celebrating New Year, celebrating the birth of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve was created in the fall of the season. How do you know that? Well, you study the Bible and it tells you. They went and have a feast to celebrate that time because God told them to do it. It's in the Old Testament. Like I said, you'll understand the New Testament a lot better if you study the Old Testament too. How many books are in the Bible? Do you know that? There's 66 books in our Bible. There are 66 Bible verses about watchmen. Isn't that unusual? Because I just talked about a watchman. You're a watchman if you're living for Christ and helping people. One of the Bible verses about a watchman is 1 Peter 5 and 8. When you get a chance, I want you to read that. The Jewish year this year, which already started back in the fall, is 5871. 5,800 1471. The Jewish calendar goes by the moon, not like we do. Theirs is a little different, even have different months. It started at different times. When was Jesus really born? Was it in December of our year? No, it wasn't. It was back in the fall. God had told his people to go to a certain place at a certain time to celebrate, to have a feast. That's why they were going, and they had to find a place to sleep that night, and there was no room in the inn because everybody was there to celebrate. They had to give account of how many people that lived in their lives and their family and all. That's why they went, so they could start taking down numbers. Numbers is very important to the Lord. Right now, I would be closing my class and asking for prayer requests, but we don't have any prayer requests, so what we usually do is say the Lord's Prayer. But before we say the Lord's Prayer, I have a few little sayings I'd like to say, if you don't mind. How can I pray? Everybody says that just about it when they first get saved. How do I pray? What do I pray? How do I pray our if I live only for myself? What is our? It's more than just me. It's people around me and people I know and people I don't know. Because our. How can I pray Father if I do not act like the child? How do you act like a child? A lot of people that are supposed to be grown up still act like a child. How can I pray, who art in heaven, if I'm lying up, no treasures there? How can I pray, hallowed be thy name, if I don't care about being holy myself? What does the word hallowed mean? We need, when we don't understand words, to look them up. You will find more than one definition. So you would need to know what was before that to understand what it really means. How can I pray, thy kingdom come, if I live for my kingdom, power, and wealth? How can I pray, thy will be done, if I disobey his word? How can I pray on earth as it is in heaven, if I will not serve him here and now? How can I pray, give us this day our daily bread, if I am dishonest or unwilling to share what I have done with others? I hope you're thinking. How can I pray, forgive us our debts, if I nurture resentment against others? How can I ask for forgiveness? How can I pray, lead us not into temptation, if I am willingly place myself in its path? Do we watch where we go, what we do, what we say? Do we watch that little tongue? Do we think twice before we say something? How can I pray, deliver us from evil, if I refuse to put God on all armor, God's all armor? What is God's armor? Something else we need to look up in the Bible, huh? Do you do that? If you have a question, you should. How can I pray, thine is the kingdom, if my life not reflects his lordship? Is people watching you? Sure they are. They may not say anything, but people watch your outward appearance, your reaction to things, and how you carry yourself. How can I pray, thine is the power, if I fear what people may do? If you don't think God is powerful, he won't be able to do anything. It just be all up to you to take care of yourself. But he's all powerful. We learn that by reading the Bible and listening to our teachers and the ones, our mentors, that we know are to be looked at. How can I pray, thine is the glory, if I I seek honor for myself? What am I doing up here? Everybody see me? Aren't I doing great and wonderful? No, that's not the way we should be. Not at all. How can I pray forever if my life is banded only by the things of time? Just a few things to think about. Just a few things to consider our lives. Teens, I love you so much, and I miss you so much. And I did have plans to bring some candy today just to tease you, but I forgot and left it on the table, so I can't tease you with the candy. I always have candy for you. You know it. So when we get back together, think about how much candy I'm going to have to bring to church. So if y'all need anything, you have my phone number. And I pray for you every day that you are safe and are still reading the Bible, still saying the Lord's Prayer every day if you don't have anything to pray about. Do we pray one time a day? No. We should pray all day long, not necessarily on our knees and bow down, but even when we're in a car, mentally we pray. We talk to God all the time because he's right there. He hears you. He listens. The more you spend time with him, the better life you'll have. He'll be great to you as you are great to him. I miss you. God bless you.